is Red Bull. So like,
Okay.
but that's one can of Red Bull tops, and then for the rest, mostly water, coffee,
Mm.
tea. No sugar, no milk, just plain. And yeah, and then for food, it's always rice. When I cook, it's
Mm.
always rice and some spicy chicken or something.
That's like
So
the go-to fitness thing, is it? The rice and chicken. They always make the.
yeah, it is. But in all honesty, I'm too lazy for potatoes. So
Yeah, it's just easy. I must admit that's like
yeah.
one of the vices I'm quite bad with is I actually quite like the taste of energy drinks as well. And I don't know if it's like when you're a student and you're having like Jaeger bombs all the time or whatever. But I'm now
Oh,
I don't really drink like tea or coffee. I don't really like hot drinks, so I'll normally just have
okay.
like sugar-free Red Bulls or like something like that instead. That's that's how I get my caffeine.
Yeah. I mean, fair enough.
Yeah,
It's a
pretty
good
much.
good solution.
To start, it's just saying, who you are, how people will know you, and what you're sort of known for online.
Yeah, I'm ShacoMidLane, and I was well originally I'm known for ShacoMidLane because I got to masters with ShacoMidLane, and eventually I peaked in challenger. But ever since the mana nerfs, I kinda pivoted to jungle, and then this patch they nerfed jungles. Now I'm moving towards top lane. But I still play mid occasionally with Shaco. I'm known for lane Shaco in general, I would say, and I mean, one of the things that I have on my stream is I have some random ass music, so just derpy circus tunes to go along with the Shaco vibes. So
Yeah, I think that's one of the main things that stood out actually when I first came across your stream was the music, and not only the fact that like yeah, Shaco's always jungle bound. It was good seeing him. Actually, you were winning lane the first one I saw. I can't remember who you were playing against mid lane, but I was just like, this is actually working. This is quite. I'm really into watching. Like instead of variety streamers, I quite like watching not only this person playing the same game, but people playing the same champions. I quite like watching OTPs, like master the one.
yeah,
That sounds weird, but yeah,
no, I understand that.
it's quite niche, I think. But yeah, some folk just get into it. I think it's easier to relate.
Yeah, certainly. And the thing with Shaco is he has such a versatile kit. There's so much you can do with it. It doesn't really get boring because you'll always get excitement out of playing him because
Yeah,
there's so many different ways of using his kit, and that's why I like the champion so much.
definitely. Right, before we get into like chatting about League and Shaco and stuff, so how about you take us back to what you started playing as a kid? Like, did you like what led you to League of Legends? Like, what kind of games did you like grow up playing? And what got you there?
I started gaming when I was around 7, and then I started with RuneScape, now known as Old School RuneScape, and that taught me a lot of English and such. Yeah, that was actually the foundation of my English. I never really learned English in school. I had English, but I never really paid attention because I felt like I knew it already. I felt like I didn't really learn anything there. So I always just winged it, I guess. So RuneScape, that game, thank God for that because that game just opened so many doors in my life just because it taught me the foundations of English. And then after RuneScape, I pivoted to Battlefield Heroes and Battlefield 3, but mainly Battlefield Heroes. That
Mm.
was my game. I really loved it. And then they closed the game down, EA. And then some friends that I met on Battlefield Heroes were like, "Hey, let's play League." And I'm like, "I don't know, man." And then I started playing it, and I'm still playing now.
That's funny. So would you say that Battlefield was sort of the first like game you play competitively?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm.
Yes.
And how old were you then?
I must have been like 13, 14, maybe
Mm.
15.
Yeah, so it's curious as how like people or certain ages they actually do start playing like competitive games because I feel like a lot of parents as well like they don't want people or don't want their kids rather speaking to strangers on the internet at like that age and especially like you know parents that are aware they know how toxic some games are like League being
Eh,
probably one of the most toxic in the world.
True.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
that's very true.
But it's funny you mentioned EA as well. I feel like they've ruined so many games that I've liked over the years, and they've just like discontinued, which is a bit sad. but
It's so sad, man.
definitely. So, Chat more about a league. So you're saying what drove you towards playing Shaco? Because again, like you mentioned there, how technically like sound he is, and even one thing I noticed when watching you, it's I'll like think to myself like if I was playing Shaco, I'd jump in this direction, that direction, and you'll do something that's completely opposite, and it'll work out better. And it's quite interesting to see how your mind works playing the champion.
Yeah, the thing with Shaco is I used to play Vigar, and Vigar had the issue that if you're very immobile, you have a
Mm,
cage, when it's on cooldown, you're fucked. As Shaco, you can play everything in so many different ways. You can throw your E for a slow and then walk away, or you can Q away, or your box, or your ultimate. Literally every single ability of yours can be used to prevent someone from ganking you,
mm-hmm,
or to just get out of sticky situations. On top of that, you feel like a genius when it works out, and that dopamine, I can't get it from any other champion. When I troll someone with Shaco and they walk into my boxes and just die, or I get out and I'm just like, holy fuck, I'm a beast, then I feel amazing. I don't get it with any other champion. And yeah, the unpredictability of the champion makes it so much fun as well.
it definitely seems like it's got like more outplay potential when you see like for example I used to OTP Kale quite a bit and it feels like you were just a paperweight early on and you can't really do anything apart from your flash and your ultimate. When you hit 6 you've got no escape. You know, so when you
Yeah,
play someone like
exactly.
Shaco it just feels like you've got so many options, you know. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And yeah, that's why when I play other champions, like let's say Kill, I feel like I don't have the freedom that I need in the game. I need some freedom in the
Mm-hmm.
game. I need to be able to do 20,000 different things and just choose anything. I don't want to be forced to go a certain route and
Mm-hmm.
just do kill things and just AFK farm to level 16, you know. I want to be able to do multiple things.
Yeah, no, that was it. Essentially, that's all you do is you'd be tower hugging till 16, and you're like, right now I've pushed my on button and I can do things, which a lot of the times the game
Exactly.
wouldn't get to that point. so, uh,
Yeah,
so what about your
and then you waste,
champion? Oh,
yeah,
sorry, on you go. Sorry.
and then you wasted like 30 minutes where you never got to the fun part, and
Yeah,
you're like, well,
exactly.
yeah.
Yes, I was just asking there. So what about like your champion journey? Did you mentioned Vigar there? Did you was that the first champion you picked up, or did you pick up a few before Shaco was the one?
Vigar was the first champion that I properly picked up. I had played a little bit of Jace, but I mean, I went Ravenous Hide around Jace, so let's say that I didn't really know what I was doing. I was very new. So I would say my first proper main was Vigar, and then I went for Shaco.
Nice. Nice.
Although, yeah, I did have an Aurelion Soul phase though, and a Zoe phase, but not to the extent of Shaco or Vigar.
Fair. Is this new Aurelion Soul or was this previous? It's like OG.
No, the old
The
one, the
OG.
one that no one liked.
Yeah, as I say, I think when the first changes came out, he was quite frustrating that he just he cleared waves like instantly, didn't he? He was yeah.
He did, yes.
So what do you think about
Yeah.
the current state of league? Because obviously, like you mentioned there, the jungle changes are quite big. 'Cause just like actually, it's a good point. I'll put the date because the patch note date probably important. I'll put that on the screen. But yeah, so the jungle changes are quite big. Like Smite's been nerfed quite heavily, isn't it? So it feels like farming champions have maybe got a slight advantage this patch. So would you jungle quite hard Shaco before, or were you playing lane Shaco previous to the patch?
Before this patch, I did spam Shaco jungle, but I find lane Shaco more fun. So I went back to the top lane. I was also, partly because of the Dark Harvest nerfs as well. I was enjoying Shaco jungle quite a bit, but with the Dark Harvest nerfs, I felt like I don't want to go for Dark Harvest anymore.
Mm.
Let's try first strike top lane, and then I'm like, oh dang, this is actually fun, and that's where I'm at right now. But the jungle changes in general, um, it feels a little bit early to judge. Overall, I like the smite change, but as always, some champions are affected more heavily by the changes than others. And once again, this is a common theme with Shaco. often when there's a big change in League. Shaco is affected by it negatively, and then it takes a while for Riot to catch up and be like,
Mm-hmm.
oh wait, Shaco just got into this shitty position and we need to change him. So I feel like that's where we're going right now. If you look at Shaco's win rate, it has dropped quite a bit, and
Yeah.
I'm hoping for changes that will also buff lane Shaco because they nerfed Shaco a while ago. They nerfed the mana cost on his W, it's
Mm.
increased, and they nerfed his mana regen, so you have less mana. So I'm forced to rush tier first item,
Mm.
otherwise I'm gonna have mana issues. I need to hold on to the tier or buy mandate as a second mana item,
Yep.
or I'll have mana issues. It really sucks, and it was aimed at Shaco support, but it affects mid lane Shaco way more than support, and I believe also top lane Shaco. So what I am hoping for is that these jungle changes will make Shaco jungle suck so much to the point that they have to buff jungle Shaco,
Mm-hmm.
but because they don't know what they're doing, they're also gonna buff lane
They're
Shaco with
gonna
it.
overtune the lane Shaco. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I have
Yeah,
noticed in your streams you'll run up the tier and then sell it later on because it's just you don't need the mana anymore. It's quite good. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, so what would you say? Because I mean, I've like I said, witnessed quite a few of your games where you'll play against someone like Garen or others, like Tryndamere. What would you say your
Bro,
worst counter
don't get me
matchups are for
started, man. Dude, I was so annoyed today on stream because every game was Garen or Tryndamere. I
him?
ban one, I get the other. Sorry, repeat it again. Sorry,
No,
I'm.
I'm just curious to what you think his biggest counters are because like you were saying there, it feels like I felt like when I first started playing League, you would see people play Mord, Garen. Ones you didn't have to care about your mana resource, and you could just spam. You could spam your abilities.
Hmm?
And no offense to Garen players, but honestly, fuck Garen players. And
Yeah,
how they can just smack their face off the keyboard and still get away with stuff. It's frustrating, but it feels like now
it is.
you see it at higher level play now as well, which is so annoying.
It is. I mean, the thing is, I don't think Garen is particularly a hard matchup for Shaco. The issue is Garen right now in his current state, he's overtuned.
Okay.
He's a stat check champion, so a stat check champion when he's overtuned, it becomes an issue. It's not really matchup specific. When you look at matchup specific matchups, Sion and Nessus, those are two matchups where you can't do anything. You can smack a Sion in the early game. You
Mm-hmm.
can get 6 kills. You can be ahead in everything. If Sion has more than 2 brain cells, even with 2 brain cells, if he goes tanky, Hole Breaker, okay, uh, GG, you can't do anything anymore. Hole Breaker, Force of Nature, he will just ignore you. He'll just smack your tower. You place a box to clear the wave, and he's like, "Well, fuck you. I'll just yeet it away." You don't have wave clear anymore. It's horrible. You try to E or auto attack him. His shield soaks up everything.
Mm-hmm.
You have nothing to do against him, and he just keeps scaling despite you having won the early game, but you can't hold him. Nessus, same story. You can't punish his early game because your own early game is also dog
Yeah.
shit. So those are the two picks that come to mind when I think of big Shaco counters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's actually counter hard. Yeah, I feel like you just can't shut Nasus down early at all, can you? You're just sort of like, I mean,
Yes,
you stack off your boxes as well, which is quite annoying.
it is. It really is. Yes.
So what's your rank just now? Because I'm just thinking you're like a top tier like player just now. And what like do you think it's easy to maintain the rank that you're at just now, or do you feel like it's a struggle?
I'm currently a master. I did reach challenger earlier this season. Then the mana nerfs on Shaco affected me so much. I dropped down, and I also feel like I believe losers queue exists, honestly, but um, it's horrible. And then you get to the point where you lose more LP than you gain,
Mm-hmm.
which is very annoying. And I think that's flawed in League of Legends in general. And it's not just it has nothing to do with your win rate either. I thought maybe it has to do with the win rate because if I get a 60% win rate, maybe I'll get more LP gains because my win rate is so good. No, it's
No.
not the case.
Mm-mm.
I made a new account. I climbed up. I'm currently Diamond 3 on that account. I climbed there with a 65% win rate or something. And if I win a game, I get 20 LP. If I lose a game, I'll lose 28 or maybe even 30.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's unfair, and it encourages people to buy accounts or create a Smurf account, play on a new account because they lose more LP than they gain, even if they go 50-50, you know?
Hmm.
So I think that's flawed, and it annoys me a little bit.
Nah, to be fair, I think that's. I'm a firm believer. Again, I think there's a lot of it's you're either a believer or not of the losers queue exists. There's a lot of people that are just in proper denial, and
Yeah.
it's just as long as you win more than you lose, you'll be fine. But like you say, there's a lot of people you can just again even just be watching top tier streamers, you can see the LP they're losing and gaining, and it must be demoralizing when you're actually
It
winning.
is.
You're losing 3 games, and it's actually the equivalent of losing 4. That's horrible. But
It is. And the worst part is when you're streaming and you drop down a rank and people join your stream with the best intentions. I'm not shit talking these people,
mm,
by the way, but
mhm.
this is a struggle of a league streamer. Hey, weren't you this rank yesterday? Hey, did you drop down? And I'm like, yeah, I did. And then 5 minutes later, someone else does it. And they have no bad intentions. I'm not mad at them. I
Mm.
can't be mad at them because they're just asking it out of curiosity. They care about your stream and all. But my God, if you have to repeat that every so often, you're
Yeah.
just like, oh my God, you're just pouring salt over the wound, mate.
Mm.
Don't get me started. Yeah.
I do remember. I don't know if you know him. Solo Renekton only. He streams. He again. He used to just play Renekton all the time. And I remember he had this. He would often go like into like I would say a rage mode where basically he asked the same stuff all the time. But one of the most frustrating things he used to chat about was if he was in a laning phase where, again, let's say Garen, for example, where you probably want some anti-healing, and it'd be so early in the game, he's just trying to get his first item first or something like that, and someone would always join and say, you should get anti-healing. He would someone would always suggest it or suggest some item fix for the matchup, when in reality it's the fact he's down
Oh
4
no.
kills and he's been ganked, and it was just like you say, salt on the wound.
That is horrible. I hate it when people that's backseating. Like I'm
Mhm.
very much anti backseating, and it's annoying because sometimes people deny that they are backseating, and you're like, can you please no backseat? And you try to say it in as nice of a way as possible, but every so often you have someone who goes in denial, and then you have a full-on conflict in your chat, and you're like, I'm just trying to stream, mate, just let me play the game and I want to have a good vibe. But then the entire vibe is ruined. Like it's annoying, and that's sometimes it's difficult to keep the vibes good when that happens, when something gets on your nerves, let's put it that way.
You've got this soothing music, man. You're sorted.
That is true, that is true.
So what kind of advice would you give to, like, say someone that's wanting to play Shaco at like top tier? Like, just now, keep in mind, like, you've got your mana debuffs and stuff. Like, what
someone who's
tips?
already to-
Just
Someone who's already high,
that's
you know.
no, say someone that wants to try and like climb and become like good as a, let's just say, wants to pick up Shaco. They maybe played a handful of games. They know how he works. What advice would you give them to try and improve?
I would say, first of all, don't pick Shaco and expect to instantly climb,
Mm.
because the main reason to pick Shaco is to have fun, not to climb. He's not the best champion to climb with, if you ask me. Um, I think AD Shaco is better to climb with than AP Shaco because of the stronger early game. Although I believe right now AD Shaco is a bit weaker in the jungle, but in general, I feel like AD Shaco is better as he can deal better with fat carries. Let's say the enemy AD
Mm.
carry is fat, you can tap him. AP Shaco relies a bit more on the team because the early game is kind of whack. So, uh, yeah, main advice would be just have fun with it and don't care about the rank too much initially. You can aim for a high rank once you have at least 100k points on him, I would say.
A better understanding. It's good. I always feel
Yeah.
like you see, there's quite a lot of Shaco. Like, it's good for the like montage of like good kills. I can't remember his name. There's a streamer used to always appear on. Is it Synapse or Synapse? I don't know if you say it. Like the
Synapse,
Synapse. Yeah,
yes.
and he used to always. Can't remember if he was laning or jungling. I think he might have been jungling, and he would always have these plays where he'd be like 1 health, and they're just getting chased down, run into a box, and he'd kill and just be like, it just looks so frustrating from the enemy's point of view, and it just makes for really good watching.
It does. It's such fun content. Like honestly, I also feel like if I play any other champion than Shaco, I feel like my content is not as fun because I'm not playing Shaco.
Mhm.
You don't have the mind games going on. I like the mind games, and I feel like the viewers are also attracted to the mind games.
Yeah, as I always say, it's like, oh, he wants me to walk over here, and then if you just like fake a movement, it's like, oh, there's a box over here. It's just,
Yes, it's amazing. It's lovely.
No, that's quite good. I think that's again what makes it, and also if you're enjoying like playing him as well, like it shows, and even just the way your voice comes across in stream. If you're enjoying playing, it's surely better as well. But
Yeah.
so we were chatting earlier about like toxicity. So for example, if we were saying that leagues probably for me, I would say like maybe Call of Duty or League of Legends, they have to be some of the most toxic games. Like I've played since I've been a kid.
No doubt. No
I know
doubt.
they're up there. What would you say is like? Because even like Lockin and Shaco, you must high level, you must get quite a lot of abuse for like locking them in Champ
Lots.
Select, right?
A lot. It's every game that you pick Shaco, mostly mid lane. If you lock him in mid lane, you have to if you want to play Shaco mid lane, if you want to pick it up, keep in mind that you'll probably have to go through about 5 champ selects because everyone's going to dodge you. You're gonna be called a troll. People are gonna tell you to do not so nice stuff to yourself. 3 letters or 4 letters, depending. They're not that creative, but yeah. Or they just sometimes they just run you down, or they troll you, or they troll pick and force you to dodge, or you'll be trolled and lose LP.
Hmm.
That sucks. You also get a lot of flame because people just don't like Shaco. If anything goes wrong at any point in the game, Shaco is always the scapegoat. That's also something. Uh, and that is frustrating. Like even like I've been playing this champion for so long, and I sometimes just get so fed up with it that I'm just like I just can't deal with it. I need a break. Like
Hmm.
I can't play League right now. I need to get away from my computer, do something else because it's too much. There's too much toxicity for me.
So is that kind of
Yeah.
your like solution to the toxicity? You just need to take a break from time to time.
Theoretically, that is the solution. In practice, I'm like, I can do one more game. I'm streaming. Maybe next game will be better. And then I tend to just mute all.
Yeah.
And hopefully it cheers me up.
See, that's the thing as well. I feel
It,
like as soon as someone, it's like I never chat when I play League, but if I get this again, if I do something stupid, which again we all do playing League, if I do something stupid, I'll instantly, if someone pings me, I'm like, right, that's it, mute. It's there's no hesitation, and then you probably pay for it in the late game when people are saying like, I'm coming into your lane, and you're just like completely oblivious. I feel
yes.
like it's where it tie the line. So how long does it take you before you're muting pings and all chat?
Depends on my state of mind. Usually I'm quite late with muting them. Usually I don't mute them straight away unless I'm extremely tilted. If I'm in a good mood, if I'm not tilted, then I'm very talkative actually. In a troll way. I am like I know that my champion is perceived as a troll champion. I know people will not trust me in my champ select. So I might as well embrace it.
Mm.
So what I do is I just say, "Hey, lovely teammates," for example. Sometimes they are very nice to you. Sometimes they just tell you the three-lettered word. That sometimes you don't know, but I feel like I might as well embrace it because everyone hates me anyway for being a Shaker player. So
No, that is quite good. Especially like again, that's like entertainment value as well. Like
yeah,
knowing fine well that even probably the opposition, if you're laning, thinks this is probably a free lane because this is not a serious pick. And if you're able to like spam a moat and chat to them and wind them up
it
even further, that's entertainment as well. Is it? As long as it's not
is.
two BM, as long as it's not too bad, that's quite good.
Actually, my favorite games are games where there's me and the enemy laner, and there's some banter and BMing going back and forth. So let's say he kills me and then question marks me.
Mm.
If I then get him back, I'm like, okay, you just unleash the beast. I'll just go full troll mode. I'll question mark you back. And then there's this rivalry going on, which makes the game 10 times more exciting. Like, I want to win the game, but now I must win the game. I can't, losing is not an option anymore because this fucker BM me, and I'm gonna BM him back until I get the W. But the downside is if you then lose the game, you quickly mute all, otherwise you're gonna get angry.
That's it. Well, there was a game I think I watched a while back that was you were laning against an Aatrox, and the Aatrox
Yeah.
he said good luck or something, but in like it was like a cheeky way or something. I can't remember what he said, and you just replied saying like I don't need it, and then he first killed you, and then you instantly killed him back, and then again, and it was just like I think you said like see I told you didn't need it or something, and it just it just provides to that like you say back and forward like banter almost. It's quite good.
Yeah, it's really good. Like it's you can call it toxic, but I would say no, it's just rivalry. Rivalry is good. It's like football. Sometimes you have two clubs and they absolutely hate each other to the core. But those are the games that people talk about. Those are the games that people want to see. Those are the games where it really matters more than ever.
Mm-hmm.
And the same is in League. If there's a bit of BMing going on, that's a good thing. I think that's one of the best things that can happen in the game.
Yeah, I think more of like toxicity, the way of like someone's playing really bad in your team and you're just spamming abuse at them,
Yeah.
or even like if you're losing lane and you're like
I
spamming
would
abuse at your
yeah.
laner, like that's just like what's the
That's
point?
like bad toxicity, but that's also a thing. If someone has a bad game and you start flaming them,
Mm.
they will not give a fuck. They'll be like, okay, yeah, this team is toxic. I'm losing lane. Go next. But if the team is nice and is like, oh, don't worry, we got this, then if you are that feeding laner, you feel like, oh man, my team is so nice and I'm feeding. I need to step it up, man. I feel
Yeah,
so bad for being a bad player right here. I don't want to bring them down. I want to get this W with my team. They're so nice.
yeah, it's like
So
you're
I feel
guilt
like
tripping. Yeah, it's quite good.
guilt tripping. If anything, be nice to those feeding lanes because if you're nice to them, they're gonna feel bad about feeding. Otherwise, it's the other way around. So people don't understand it, but they get it the wrong way around.
Mm. It's weird as well because I feel like I grew up playing games like StarCraft and things like that where like you just be playing one on one with somebody and it was
Yeah,
very clear like who was better than the other person and there was nobody else to blame. You just be like, well, I'm shit. Next game, and you just go. But
yeah,
it's almost, or I feel like it's almost too easy to just point to like your jungler and just go, that's it's his fault or someone else's, because it's a team game.
true.
Um, I think that's it's quite hard to take accountability in League. I think.
It is, but it's a very snowbally game. So you can have a counter matchup, or you can have a matchup where one kill equals lane is doomed.
Mm-hmm.
And with some matchups, you feel so helpless to the point that you're like, okay, I clearly can't win this. I need help. And if you don't get the help,
That's
then
it.
well, clearly you have to do. What can you do? You can talk to your teammates and be like, yo, what the fuck? For the next 20 minutes, I'm gonna be doing nothing and I'm gonna be bored. Help me out, bitches.
Yeah. Well, it's like it was one of the reasons as well where I like to play KO was because not only because if you did get shit on early, it was almost expected because she was so weak, and then also like if you did, there was still an opportunity for you to come back because she would get so strong later. But then if you
True.
were say playing someone like Olaf in lane top and you're down 2 kills, it's like you're shit late game and then you're shit early game, so you're just completely useless.
Exactly. You're out for the entire game. No recovery.
Mm, that was definitely sad. But what about like professional play? Do you ever watch like professional league or esports of any kind?
No, I don't. I've never really been into it, and now that I stream, when I spend time on League, it's mostly spending time on my own content. I'm either streaming or I'm looking at a YouTube video that my editor edited, and then I'm like, okay, what would be a good title and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always busy with streaming and all, so I don't really. When I'm not streaming, I want to not be busy with League. I want to have a bit of.
Mm-hmm.
I want to break. I can't keep up with pro play on top of my stream because then my entire life would be League, 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 and I need some distraction in my life. I can't just be
That's a
on
lot.
League 24/7. Yeah, and also you have social media, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch. Discord, and you need to manage everything, and it's just a lot. And
Mm.
then it's all league related, you know. So
Yeah, I
it's
think
just
like
too much.
trying to create content for all those platforms as well is absolutely insane. It's like you said, just having like someone that if you have the capability to pay to do or help you with it is definitely good, is it? Um,
Absolutely.
what about actual sports outside of do you watch football or anything like that at all?
As a kid, I used to be into football, but not anymore.
Mm.
Last year, I had a friend group who really liked to like play badminton. So I did that occasionally, but that was just yeah, that's about it.
Just keep it cool. Mm.
Yeah.
No, I'm just curious because I feel like when people play, there's a couple of folk then you would stream and they'd stream like say like 8-10 hours a day, and then they would not play games outside of that. Whereas I felt like you missed like just turning off the stream and just playing with your friends, like just playing like some like an MMO or playing something for fun just with five of your friends, or again just switching off and like watching something else. So just curious as to like, can you keep up like master or challenger ranked and still have a social life? You know.
I mean, rank wise, yes. Stream wise, it's a bit more difficult. Stream wise, I mean, if you stream full days, it's very difficult to plan something in the middle of the day. Let's say your friends want to do something at 4. Then you're like, okay, so I can't really, well, I could stream in the morning, but then it would be a smaller stream. And how do I do that with my
Mm.
stream? So I do feel like it's difficult to combine it with real life. Especially for me right now, I'm gonna get a job in 2 weeks. So I'll be working for 32 hours a week. I'll probably be very busy juggling my stream with my work. So I feel like my social life might might take a hit
See,
there.
that's it. It's downhill from here. You get a job and the streaming just goes it ruins all the
No, I
dreams.
want to keep. I want to keep streaming, man. I want to
Good for you,
keep
man.
streaming. I'll be streaming for at least two hours a day. I want it to be. I'm kind of gonna aim for 3, and then throughout the weekends I can stream for longer. That's my plan because I
Mm.
don't want to give up streaming. I'm enjoying it, and I put so much time into it, and I haven't really reaped the benefits from it yet. So I want to make it grow.
Nah, that's cool. I must admit, I think like one of the better times, although shit for most people, was during COVID, when everyone was in like
Mm,
full lockdown. And I'm not sure if you were in the UK then or if you were
I was.
yeah, it was like so we're up in Scotland and it was just yeah, full lockdown. And I think my work just put me on furlough, so I essentially wasn't working. I was paid not to work. And I would just sit and stream. And I was like, this is just brilliant. And I would just stream all the time. But then it came back to going back to work, and I was like, oh man, this is the dream killer. It's back, you know. It's
Oh man. Yeah, I get that, man.
so but yeah, it's just managing like around it's tiring, especially like I don't know how you create content on top of full-time job and streaming as well, because it obviously takes ages.
I mean, I don't create the content. I do the streaming part. I don't create the videos. I don't do the editing.
Mm.
That's I get help with that, luckily.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
yeah,
That's good.
yes.
So we were chatting as well, sorry, at the start of the stream about like fitness and how like our stream or our channel has like a sort of a fitness element to it. So and you mentioned
Mm.
badminton there about like what are your eating habits like in fitness, and like is there anything you do to keep fit outside of playing computer games 7-8 hours a day?
Um, I don't really exercise a lot. I just yeah, I used to do badminton when my friend group did badminton, but I moved to the Netherlands now, so that friend group is not here.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's mostly just nutrition. I eat a lot of yogurts. I eat here 5 grain mix
Oh,
with
okay,
all
okay.
these grains.
Hey.
I have I have sunflower seeds. I have pumpkin seeds. I add that to my yogurt. Yeah,
I mean, I think
just
if you
healthy
asked
food,
like
I guess.
most streamers like what foods are at their desk right now, that's not what people would pull out from behind their desk. It would be like, oh, like
It's
here's
not.
not to be the stereotype, but you probably would get a lot of like fast food containers now.
No, what I have, I can show you. Here, I have. It's not a these nuts joke, but I have these nuts. I hate those jokes, man. But boy, I have a banana. I have a jar of honey, and I have yeah yeah, the granola. That's it.
Yeah, that's pretty healthy, I would say. No.
Yeah, it is.
All right, so normally to like finish off, I'll do like a quick fire questions or just like random questions. I normally ask the stream, tell them I'm doing this podcast, and I'll say, "Is there any questions you want me to ask?" Some of them will just ask random questions. So, the first one is, if you were to one trick another champ, what would it be?
Oh, good question. It would need to be a champion that I could spam a lot, and I do want to feel like I can keep on improving with the champion, and it needs to be a mobile champion. So I feel like Katarina is a champion that is uh, also very entertaining to watch, has a high carry potential, is quite mobile, and has a very high skill ceiling. So I feel like Katarina might be a champion that I would like to one trick if Shaco was not an option.
Ah, okay, that's cool. Also, no mana capabilities there either. You're set.
Yes, they can't nerf a mana pool, luckily, so that's good.
This is actually mine. So what's the biggest differences between living in Holland and the UK, or rather maybe like something you miss from the
Oh.
UK?
What I miss from the UK,
Mm.
I miss the vinegar options. Like
Vinegar, really?
if I get fish and chips, I want to be able to get vinegar over them. But if I get, let's say, rice cakes, I also want a vinegar option. They don't have a vinegar option over here for rice cakes. Can you
Really?
believe it?
That is weird.
Yeah. But at the same time, what I miss when I'm in England are the snacks. In the Netherlands, we have all these snacks that you deep fry, and they're amazing. But you don't have them in England, and I'm like, what the heck?
Man, Scotland is notorious for deep frying
Oh,
everything.
really?
Yeah, they have like
Oh, that's awesome.
their chippers are like their fish and chip shops up here are notorious for deep frying like pizzas and stuff like that. Like just yeah, like
Oh,
um,
awesome.
so they're not exactly the promotion of health, but it's good. It's good for stuff like that. One thing actually I remember when I was in Holland when I was a kid, and again
Oh.
you don't get it in the UK for some reason, but is when you have chips, the mayonnaise that you used to get in Holland was fucking amazing. It was so
Yeah,
different to like the
yeah.
mayonnaise here. It's just garbage here, and I
The
can't go
mayonnaise
back.
we have is so much better, mate.
Oh,
I can't eat it over there. When I'm in England, I eat ketchup.
mm,
Nowadays, I don't eat mayonnaise anyway, but ketchup is or mayonnaise in the Netherlands is a lot better than in England. In England, it's somewhat sour or something. I don't
yeah.
know.
I don't know what they do to it, but it's not like I keep trying to describe it to people, and they'll be like, "Oh, is it just sweeter?" And you're like, "No, it's just better. It's just really good."
Yeah, it's better.
Like
Yeah.
if you were when I was over there when I was a kid, it was I would just say, can I get chips and tomato sauce?" And they'd just be like, "That's weird." I was like, "No, man, that's what's what you do." But no, that was really
Oh
fine.
man. I
Uh,
forgot one thing, by the way. The meal deals. Meal deals and
oh,
Greg's.
Greg's.
Meal deals and Greg's. We need those in the Netherlands, I'm telling you.
There's no equivalent of Greg's in Holland, no.
No, we don't have that. Like,
Ah,
it's weird.
it's a place I think like as a student in the UK that people live off of. I think they were
Oh, I
like
did.
you were like 60p for like a sausage roll when I was a student, man. I would have like four of them a day. So
Every
bad.
single day, mate. Every single day, I'd go for a sausage roll, a Red Bull, and some flatbread. And then I'd
Kid.
buy that, I'd go to my PC, and I'd start streaming every single day. That was
What
my last, yeah.
what about the nightlife in Holland compared to the UK?
I'm not really a clubbing type of person, so I have gone clubbing in the Netherlands maybe 2 or 3 times. I don't really remember,
Even like bars and
but
stuff?
bars. I don't like the bars in the Netherlands as much. Like honestly, the bars are way better in England. For some reason, the vibe is better. I don't know. And even with clubbing, I feel like clubbing is also better in England. Uh,
I think it's more just
yeah.
like social thing, is it? Like it seems that people are more just going for a chat and the pint just sort of comes with it.
Yes,
Almost.
exactly.
Yeah.
It feels different. It feels worse in the Netherlands, honestly.
I've never
But
actually drank in Netherlands before, so I can't comment. That's why I was curious just to see what you thought.
yes.
Next one, actually, this was asked for somebody else, but what's the worst food in the UK?
Oh, the worst food in the UK. Wait, it's asked by someone else. Who asked that?
Yeah, well, basically, the other one was like the last stream I did was someone had asked like what was the worst like drink or something. So it seems just like a lot of them just reiterate ones that are off of past.
Okay,
So
okay. So the worst food, right?
hmm
Oh man. Oh man. Okay, I'm not prepared for this question. Let me think. I like a lot of food. That's the issue. So, oh yeah, the one thing I hate is when you get chips somewhere
mm,
and they ask you, "Do you want sauce?" Okay, you have a lot of options. But what they do if you don't say, "Hey, don't do this," they will mix it with your chips.
yep.
And I'm like, "You have chips. They're supposed to be crunchy. They're amazing because they're crunchy. And what you do when you put the sauce and you mix it is you make it soggy as
Make it
fuck.
make it
It's
so.
just like potatoes, mate. You don't want that. No, you need the sauce to be on the side. Otherwise the potatoes or the chips are gonna become potatoes again, and then it's just disgusting.
Nah, I feel you, man. It's I used to hate when it's like the you ever got chips and cheese here, and it was always if you don't eat it quick enough, it just becomes this
Yeah.
like gluten mess. It's just an absolute. It's kind of same. I feel like I'm the same. I like my sauce on the side, so you're almost dipping in like a crispy chip. I didn't actually think
Yes.
anyone else thought that way though. That's quite funny.
No, mate, it's horrible. It's horrible. It should not be a thing. Like honestly.
Uh,
Oh, mate.
Next one is if you could completely remove one champion from League of Legends, what would it be?
Oh, right now I would say Garen, but uh, in general, balance-wise, I feel like Zeri is impossible to balance. She's either overpowered as shit
Hmm.
or she's beyond garbage, and there's no in between. I feel like the Q mechanic. I feel like the Q mechanic doesn't belong in the game
Hmm.
or her dash. One of the two things. I just feel like Zeri is just unbalanceable.
Yeah, she's like either overtuned or just rubbish. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think like Yumi's probably one of the most like common answers there, and I don't even think like again, there's times where she's ridiculous and times she's not, but I think it's just the frustration that she's barely even doing anything. You know, she's just
Yumi has the issue that she just amplifies your team. So if one person in your team, let's say you have a Diana, if she gets fed and you have a Yumi, that's a nightmare to deal with. But if no one is particularly fed, then Yumi is kind of meh.
hmm
I feel like the kit is also a bit unhealthy for the game. But yeah.
yeah. No, that's quite a good one actually. I never thought of Zeri probably is quite a good one. Um, would you rather play an FPS or a MMO?
Well, I mean, I stream an MMO. I've always been playing MMOs at least for the past
Ah, okay,
5 years. I'd say MMO.
cool. Okay, so just finishing up, what does the future look like for you? What are you thinking about doing? You want to just take your continue with the streaming, try and improve it, or is that going to take more of a backseat now that you're job bound?
Ooh, um, that's an issue for me. That's something I'm trying to figure out. I'm working on. I want to become a lawyer. That's my that was my original end goal. So that's why I studied law, and that's why I'm gonna be a legal trainee in 2 weeks. But in the meantime, I'm really enjoying streaming. I don't know if I enjoy uh, being a lawyer, working as a lawyer. So for now, I kind of want to juggle both things and just see. Maybe my stream goes blows up and goes big. Maybe I'll have fun with it and I can provide myself with a solid future with that. I would not say that I would not go for that. At the same time, I have to be realistic and say that my stream, as it stands now, uh, it's doing well, but it's not doing good enough to sustain myself with. It's not going to provide me with a future. It's unstable. If League dies, who am I if League dies?
Mm,
My stream is people who watch League. If I stream anything else, I lose most of my viewers. So it's not a good l- plan for me
hmm
or life plan for me. I have to pursue my main career and do my stream on the side. I see it as my little own side business that I'm working on because I enjoy it. It's a hobby slash business, but in the meantime, real life demands me to pursue a career
Mm-hmm.
in what I chose to do.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. You can always just when your league dies, you can go back to RuneScape, so we're good.
Exactly. Yes.
OG RuneScape.
Old school RuneScape.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Okay, so finally, I'd just like to normally give back to like the people who are listening and stuff. So if you were to give somebody advice that's wanting to stream, maybe something that you found difficult or just something you think that would help somebody starting out from scratch, what advice would you give them to start streaming?
Couple of things. Don't say I'll do it tomorrow. Just start your stream now because it's a marathon, not a sprint. You can't just it doesn't just happen overnight. The start is very slow and demoralizing, especially when there's view count bots in your chat. It's very annoying because you're like, I want real viewers. I don't care about these bots that you're trying to sell me. And also, don't do it for the money because honestly, it's quite an investment. Uh, you're not gonna make a whole lot of money with streaming straight away. Uh, Even if you have done it for some time, the money is probably gonna be negligible. So, yeah, that's the advice I would give.
Nah, that's pretty good. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you taking the time out to chat to us. I think that's a good bit of advice to finish on.